So, on the previous part, we see how to create the input handler, a state manager that controls all the states our character or player can have, and then from the state manager we see how to handle the player movement, the animations, and the shooting. But of course, right now we do not have the aiming, so that pretty much makes us shoot straight out forward from a player. So what we're going to create now is the input handler. Okay, oops, not the input handler, the IK handler. Okay, now the IK handler, for starters, is going to need a few transforms. Okay, first one is the weapon holder, where we talk about what the weapon holder is. Okay, which stands for our shoulder. Now you need to place now for starters, doesn't really matter where you place it, since we are overriding it anyway. Okay, and the first time we're going to hit play, it's going to look a bit weird, since the hands are not even aligned and all this stuff. Okay, the next thing we're going to use is now you need the right shoulder. You need it from the animator, and you can go drop it over here. Okay, if I take the transform and drop drag and drop it inside my IK holder, let me close this stuff. But I have already take care of that in the script, so it doesn't, if it doesn't find the transform, it's going to go into the animator and then it's going to assign it by itself, so it doesn't matter. Now the look target is where it's to make the body move, you know, have a more extreme posture than the usual one, and that depending on where we look, up and down, you know, make it cool, make it look cooler. So we need to assign the right hand IK target, and then we need to also assign the left hand IK target, which is inside and under our weapon over here. And of course it would have been if I've created, so I'm going to create it now, and I'm going to name it left hand IK. Okay, and I'm going to drop it over there. Now let's see what's inside the IK holder. Now I did first the transforms, so that you know if you do not have these transforms, so you know that you have to create them next. Okay, the IK handler, what basically needs to, the components we need to assign to from first hand is the animator, of course, since this is the IK, and the state manager. Now one thing you need to make sure, if you're going to use the onAnimator state on the onAnimator function, is this script needs to be the same, on the same level as the animator. So if I had the animator on the down game object, and this is why I do not use this animator, then I couldn't use the IK handler. Okay, so to call a function, the function onAnimator IK, which is from onBehavior, it needs to be on the same game object as, well, pretty much as the animator. Okay, some variables so that we can control and tweak stuff from the inspector, except of the look weight, which the look weight is controlled by the, if we are aiming or not. Okay, all the other stuff you can tweak it and do with them whatever you like. The target weight is so that we can learn our look weight, and the transfers we just assigned. Okay, and right hand IK weight and left hand IK weight, both of these are controlled differently, and we're going to see a few different cases for, especially for the left hand IK weight. Okay, now the transform aim helper is what actually help us and is where the object where we actually aiming. Okay, so this is a transform. The first thing we need to do apart from taking our components, as you see over here, is we actually need to create a new aim helper. Now I could have done this public and go and create a new game object inside the editor, but since we're probably going to use this a lot, we do not want to have a game object. We do not have to create new stuff, especially if we can avoid it. Okay, so we just make it by script. So the first thing it's going to do, the script is going to create a new game object and assign its transform to the aim helper. Okay, next, on fixed update, if we do not have a right shoulder, okay, so if the right shoulder transform is null, that means we didn't assign it from the inspector, then the first thing it's going to do is get from the animator, get bone transform, human body bones, right shoulder. Now the reason I do not have this inside the start is because they both run on the same, both this script and the handle animation script, okay, which is what actually set up the animator. They both run on the start. So if this script gets on the same on the start gets the bone transform of the human body bones, right shoulder, basically the avatar is not assigned, so there is no right shoulder, so this will be null. Okay, so that's why I do not use this inside start. Okay, but if we have right shoulder, then the weapon holder will be at the same position as the right shoulder. Okay, both on wall positions. Okay, so we don't really, since we are hard coding it like this, we don't really have to care about about anything else, about transforming from local to world. Okay, so this thing, we basically what it's going to say, it's going to go into the animator. Inside over here, it's going to find the right shoulder, which is this, and it's going to apply the weapon holder on the same position as the right shoulder. And of course, if our character moves over there, it's going to follow that. Next, okay, what we know, if we are aiming and we are not reloading, since when we reload, we do not want to play to keep aiming at the same target. Okay, we want our character to play freely his reload animation. Then, so if we are aiming and we are not reloading, then we need to find the direction towards the target. So we use our aim helper, and you will see why we use our aim helper. So we find the direction between our aim helper and our transform position. We need to find the angle, and that is because for some tweaking it's not necessary to find the angle. Okay, but you will see in a bit why I'm finding the angle too. Okay, so I find the angle from around transform forward and where the direction toward the target is. So if the angle is higher than is lower than 90, then that means our target weight is at 1. If it's lower than 0, and if it's higher than 90, then our target weight is 0. And basically why I'm doing this, let's see if I hit play. I'm doing this because if the camera is like this, and you see that the AK looks like that, the hand, because I do not have set this up yet. Okay, if I'm like this and I click aim, I do not want him to start aiming on the target before he has turned all the way to look towards him. Okay, so If the angle is lower than 90, then that means we can actually aim towards our target, else do not aim until you are at that point. So if we are not aiming, then we do not have to wait we do not want to aim, so our target weight is 0. We have a float multiplier that we're using on how fast we're actually aiming. Okay, this is for further tweaking, basically, okay, for further policing. So I have my multiplier and say when I'm aiming, I want my lerp, I don't know how fast I'm going to lerp, will be at 5, but if I'm not aiming, then I want to be even faster. Okay, so changing the look weight from 1 to 0 was going to be way faster than going from 0 to 1. And what depends on that is if I'm aiming or not. Okay, so we have all our variables, we have our target weight, and then we say interpolate our look weight from what it was to the target weight and all that by time dot delta time multiplied by our multiplier. For the purposes of this video, the right hand AK weight will be the same as the look weight. Okay, but the left hand AK weight is going to be 1 minus anim get float left hand AK weight override. And what this actually is if I go to my animator, to my player object, okay, and on the second layer where I have my reload, and I've told you how to reload, okay, we tick the reload and it goes into the reload state, and this reload state has an animator state behavior which on state enter sets the reloading to true, and on state exit sets the reloading to false. But I also have this float which is the left hand AK weight override, where if I go to my reload and I'm going to my animations game object, okay, and if I go to reload and down here on my curves I have the same name, I've added a new curve, okay, the same name as the float inside the animator. Okay, it's case sensitive, so that means wherever is a capital letter you need to set a capital letter, and I have it so that when it's about here, when my super cool game model with the cool materials, so when it's about here it's going to be that float's going to be 1, and when it's about somewhere around here, when the animator starts to end, it's going to go to start lerping towards 0, and that is how the curves work. But if I didn't add the 1 inside my AK handler, if I didn't add the 1 minus the animation minus the value of what that curve is, I will have to go into all other animations that I want my AK to be open, okay, and I will have to add curves for all the other animations. So this way, it's basically, if that curve is 1, that means our left hand AK weight will be 0. So that means I only have to add curves on the animations that I do not want to have the AK weight. Okay, so on the animations I do not want to use AK. Okay, and that is how we actually set up if we are using AK or not. But we need to take care of actually aiming right now. Okay, so the way we actually do that is by using this simple function, which is handle shoulder rotation. Now, because we cannot use directly the weapon holder and make him always look towards where we are aiming. Okay, because there are some issues with that. Here's where the aim helper comes to play. Okay, because the aim helper basically always moves around, but we want our weapon holder to stay, to not do that, basically. Okay, and we have a smoother, somewhat smoother aiming with this. So we have our aim helper, and we are always changing its position based on its own position, of course, and whatever look position we take from the stage. And all this multiplied by time.delta time, of course, and by 5, of course. Okay, so we make our weapon holder always basically look at the aim helper position, and the right hand target dot parent, so that the parent of the transform, which is of the right hand which is, of course, it will always be the weapon game object where I had, not the actual game object with a model, but what we created inside the weapon holder. Right hand target, so the parent of our right hand. Now, if we had a weapon manager, we will be assigning that based on what weapon we hold, so we wouldn't do it this way, but for the purposes of this video, this way is simpler, so we'll do it this way for now. Okay, so we take the transfer and we make also that transform look towards the aim helper position. Okay, so we see how to enable and disable the IK, how to find the logic if we want IK or not, and we also see how to rotate our solder to look towards the position we actually want where we want to aim. Okay, now we need to see how to enable the IK, and we do that on animator IK. We set up the look at weight, which is the look weight, the body weight, head weight. This is the eye weight. I do not have bones for the eye, so I just use the same as the head weight, and the clamp weight. Okay, if you want to learn more for IK, I have videos for that. Okay, so search in the channel. Next, we need to we actually don't need to, I don't think I use that. I use that. So if we have an override look target, so in case you didn't assign it in here, okay, the look position will be, if we have an override look target, which is if you assign it here, it will be the position of that look target. If not, it's going to be the filter direction, which is the same direction you are actually looking. Okay, and we will see an example for this in a bit. So the only thing left to do is actually enable the IK and enable the rotation. So both for left hand and right hand, I use an if statement to see if we actually have a target, otherwise we'll be getting errors. So we set the IK position weight of the left hand to left hand IK weight. Okay, the position will be whatever position the left hand IK target has. Now, because we have the left hand in the same under our animation, okay, and because the animation actually runs on after late update, or in late update anyway, not in late update, it runs between late update and update. Okay, and this will run on animator IK, I think runs before that, or something like that. Anyway, you might notice a little bit the left hand is a little bit slower. Now, if you want to eliminate that, you simply need to take that position. You simply need to create a target inside the model, and create a left-hand arcade target inside under this model, under the weapon holder, where we have a right-hand arcade target, and make that one and make this one follow the target you have under the rifle. But okay, in case you want to eliminate the left hand being a little bit slower. Okay, I do not care about it now, so I'm not going to do it. And the rotation will be the same weight as the position. Okay, and the same rotation as the left hand arcade target. The right hand is exactly the same as above, only change accordingly the variables you need to change. Okay, so let's see, let's save, let's see, and let's hit play, and you will see that we're getting a warning, and that warning is because one of the animators is not playing a playable, and that animator is this animator over here. So what we can do is disable this, and let's hit play again. So we might have forgot some other animation. Oh yeah, it wasn't that one, it was actually this one. So, and we get this error because we handle on the handle animation we have not handle animation, handle shooting. Okay, we have the weapon animation, and we basically said to him, you know, set bull, shoot, and all that. So we need to create a new animator over here. We have, but we actually need to create a new animation. Okay, I'm going to hit create, and I'm going to go into my assets, in my animations, in my weapons. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to name it AKM. I'm going to create one for the idle, and on the property I'm going to simply add position and rotation. So what we basically just did is create an animation for this game object, on the local position which is under offset, under the offset game object. Okay, so when it plays right now, it's all going to be on the idle. So basically just sits on that position. Now we're going to create one more animation, and I'm going to name it fire. Now I'm going to go back into my idle animation, and I'm going to select all the first keyframes, and I'm going to hit Ctrl C on fire, and on the first 0 frames I'm going to just simply copy paste them somewhere around 20. Okay, I will go and add them once again, so it stays right on the same position. Now around the 5 seconds or whatever seconds you might want, I'm going to go and just do basically animate the recoil of the gun, so when it fires. Okay, so what I'm going to do is do a little bit of rotation back and move maybe the gun, the whole position a little bit back. Okay, so it's going to do just like that. Now keep in mind that our look rotation is inside the weapon. Okay, so that's going to make the whole body jump back. Anyway, so you don't want to exaggerate a lot of this movement. Okay, so basically now we have animations for our weapon, but we need to set this up too. So I'm going to select my animator. Okay, and you see by default it's already dropped the two animations. So I'm going to create a parameter which is going to be a bool, and I'm going to name it simply shoot. I'm going to create two transitions, and it's going to be shoot, and I do not want X time, but on this I'm going to say false, and I think I want X time, so I'm going to check the animator from the previous one I did. So yeah, we need exit time, so I'm going to take the same value. You don't have to make it the same exact value, but it wouldn't hurt anyway. Okay, so you basically, this pretty much is about tweaking mostly. It doesn't really comes to anything else. It's simply about testing and finding the values that work for you. So let's see what we have done. Okay, so we are able to aim up and down, even though our hands look like that. It's not a problem right now. And if I shoot, you see that it goes back. We get some errors because something is not assigned. It's probably the muzzle, since that doesn't fire, and yeah, it fires from the muzzle from that other character. And no, because we haven't closed the animation for the other character. So let's close that, and what we're going to do is go find what that error was, and first of all, let's change the fire rate to something like 0.1 or 0.15, and I'm actually going to see what the error was. Oh yeah, we do not have an audio source right now, where basically we do not have the sound. So in order to fix that and do not get errors, I'm going to drop my audio manager for the character, but I'm not going to do I'm not going to explain the audio manager on this part. So let's see once again. We shouldn't be we still get errors because we haven't assigned we haven't assigned the audio sources. So I will do it now. Okay, I'm duplicating the one from my previous game object, the previous character I made, and I'm going to reset the position. Okay, basically I did is have 5 different game objects with audio sources in them. Okay, that's all there is to it, and I'm going to also assign the audio sources. I'm sorry. Footsteps and effect. Okay, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to go further with them on the next part. I'm going to explain them further. Okay, so we shouldn't be getting any errors now. Okay, apart from the weapon looking, our hands basically looking like that, we are ready to go. So let's fix our weapons looking like that. I'm going to enable the leg cursor. I'm going to hit play. I'm going to disable around over here. I'm going to disable my camera lock script, and I'm going to go into my player object, and I'm going to disable the input holder for now. And because I don't know why, we probably forgot something. Well, let's aim, and let's re-enable our free camera, and that didn't do much. Let's see. Okay, let's first disable the our input handler. Okay, and let's put it around over here somewhere, and let's click aiming. Okay, so our character aims. Let's now disable our camera so we have a point of reference. And now what we need to do is go into our player object, into our weapon holder, and simply set the offset correct. Okay. Somewhere around here actually, or let's make it have the exact same position as the weapon holder, or our own, or maybe yet let's not change the offset position, let's just change the right hand target position directly. Okay, so I'm putting it into the position where I feel it looks best. Okay, for him when he aims. Okay, basically what I want is to make him to make the two axes, the two blue axes, align with each other. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be a little bit like that. Okay, so I'm clicking copy component, exit the play mode, and I'm pasting the component values. Okay, and as you see, I'm aiming towards my target, but I also, as you might notice, that I need to make him raise his gun a bit, and you see that the actual recoil that we create, the animation, it's a bit of tweaking over here. So let's also do that. And first I'm going to redo a little bit the right hand position. So I'm disabling the input handler, I'm enabling a key, and I can also do it from here. So if you feel comfortable doing it like this, okay, you see that it looks kinda correct, or I can even not that much, although that's that's pretty fun too. Everybody do the shuffle. So, and let's go into play mode actually. Let's put the game view down here so we have a better view of it. And let's go back to scene mode, right hand OK. Okay, and try to make it basically look pretty good. And I think that looks okay to me. So I'm going to copy the position. I'm going to go back, put this back too, and bring this over here, and I'm going to paste component value. So the next time the right hand arcade target is going to be looking towards the correct position. Okay, and he shoots also. Now let's fix the left hand, and that's going to be pretty simpler. Okay, still aiming, selecting the gun, and I'm going to go into the left hand arcade game object, and I'm going to fix it to the position I feel that is perfect. Now for the left hand, you basically do not have to even have him aiming, but doesn't pretty much matter anyway. Okay, and just a little bit of tweaking. Okay, basically the secret of all of it is endless tweaking. That's all there is to it. Make it, place it at the position you feel that's comfortable. You can place it anywhere, it doesn't really matter. Okay, as you see, the animations are not that great. Something like that. Copy component, and I'm going to paste the component values. So right now is pretty much ready. So let's fix the last part where we created that model, the animation. Now I can go into my animator and change the, you see that it has two of these things. Okay, so that means the fire animation is going to play twice, so I'm going to bring that back and I'm going to make something like this. Let's check it. And it's still not that great, so let's fix that once again. And I think this one is a problem too. Something like that. Now, since these are simple transforms, if I fix one and I feel that it's okay, and if I want all my game object basically to have pretty much the same recoil, I could just use the previous animator I made. Okay, I could just use the same, which was way less which, you know, it was way less subtle. Okay, that's all there is to it. And you see all the casings we instantiate. Of course, this needs to be inside a pool so that it doesn't clutter everything. But I think it looks pretty cool right now. So that was pretty much the IK covering and aiming basically with IK. And if you have problems with this animator, let's put the previous one too. Okay, if you have problem with this, basically you can always go and do weapon. Select the weapon, animation, go on the fire and change it. Okay, you see the way of the movement it goes, how far it goes. Now I'm going to, since we are doing changes to the camera and we are doing changes to the input so that it goes up, basically just a little bit to the back. If you do something like that, and that might be too much, okay, it's just slight changes, okay, so that it feels, the whole thing just feels tight. Okay, don't forget to unclick this and close it, and it should be kinda better now. See, pretty subtle changes and it looks way more tight. Let's see it on a big screen. And what also I can do is, let me unmaximize, or let's not. Okay, if I go and change the height of my loop target, let's make, if I make it like this, you see that he changes his whole posture. And what I can also do is, if I close the input handler and enable the aiming, okay, he's aiming over there, and I can take my look target and make him look some cool postures, as you can see here. Okay, to do that you need real talent, okay, especially if you want to shoot like that. And I can also run like this. I didn't mean you, but anyway, I guess he felt he was being left alone. So with this you can see that we have a pretty dynamic system and a pretty dynamic and cool way to basically aim. Okay, and you see that we only used some basic animations for all the aiming basically. Okay, so I'm going to end this part right now, and on the next part we're going to see how we can make the audio, okay, and how we can tweak the audio so that we have footsteps and all this stuff. Okay, so we can have these sounds. Now I don't know if you're going to hear it right now. I don't know if you're hearing, but we're going to see how to make footsteps and the gun sounds and all this stuff. And the final part will be about polishing, adding image effects and all this cool stuff that make the whole game look a bit more polished. So I'll see you on the next part.